We often have a view of the world that is based on the experience that we've already had. And sometimes when somebody says something better could happen, the initial response that a person has is, I have had experience, I know what I've been through, and I don't think that there's anything better than what I've currently experienced. And so when there is an invitation to a new world, sometimes the immediate thing that goes on in us is we go, we don't believe that there can be anything better. We don't believe that there can be anything different. And even if you present to me that there is something better and that there is something different, my immediate response might be one not of embracing something that could be better and embracing something that could be different, but instead taking a look at what's going on around and going, I'm not sure that I want change. And this is typical when it comes to the opportunity to take on new jobs, new roles, new positions, because sometimes people are afraid that they will fail in the new challenge. And sometimes the concern is that it's better not to try than to try and fail. Likewise, sometimes what ends up happening is when there's new educational opportunities, we look at this and we go, I'm not sure if I am up to what it takes to do this new thing. And likewise, sometimes what ends up happening is when people say that there is a spirituality, there is a reality, there are good things that are happening, what ends up is we're in a position where people are kind of like, I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I want it. I don't know if the opportunity for something to be better really balances out over the very true reality that things are going to change and I'm not going to know what happens next. So when Yeshua, or Jesus, ended up coming along in the time period around 30 CE, he proclaimed a message that was already in the air. And the message that was already in the air had been proclaimed by John the Baptist, also known as Yochanan the Immerser, and then Yeshua ended up taking up the same message. And both of them said, repent, turn from the direction that you're going, and turn back to God, for the kingdom of heaven is close at hand. And so as Yochanan, who is actually Yeshua's cousin, first proclaims that the kingdom of heaven is available and is breaking into human history. And then as Yeshua, with his teaching, with his forming a school, forming disciples, and with his going from synagogue to synagogue and proclaiming that things were going to change, as both of them are on the same track, there's a frenzy, there's a fervor, there's an excitement going on in that era and in that time. But as you can imagine, there were those who were already dedicated to the present age. There were those who were dedicated to the way things always had been. And there were those who, when they heard that things could be better and that things were going to change, they had their own fears about things changing. And if you take and read any of the four Gospels, which are accounts of Yeshua's teaching, of Yeshua's biography, and of Yeshua's reception in that era and in that time, you will find that there were those who were very excited about what was being proclaimed, and that there were also those who were terrified of the change. Since that point in time, in every generation and every time, there are people who, when they hear that there is a change, there is something wonderful, and that you can have transformation. You can have change. You can have relationship with God. You can end up having things be different. There are those who take a look at this and go, this is utterly and totally wonderful. I want something great in my life. And there are also those who go, I'm not sure that I want that, because that seems frightening. That seems like it's going to end up upending what I'm accustomed to. That seems like the sort of thing where stuff could end up being different, and I'm not sure that I'm okay with things being different. So I just really want to encourage you that that is the offer. And a lot of people don't believe that there is anything so wonderful and so good up ahead that it would be worth the disruption that they intuitively know is going to come with this. While there are others who understand their need for something different. Now, I can't make the decision for you as to whether it is worthwhile or not for you to end up leaving behind what is comfortable and what is regular, and whether going on an adventure is going to end up bringing you to something that you really want to embrace. But I do want you to know that following God, that growing your spirituality, that turning from your having control of your world to moving into a stream and into a flow and into a world whereby God has control is, I believe, the greatest adventure that you can have in this life. And if you're on the fence about this, if you don't know about this, if somebody has talked to you about this, but you're really not sure whether you're going or not, you might want to catch some people who have been doing this for a period of time and grill them. Put them on the witness stand. See if they can tell you about where they were, what ended up causing them to take on this challenge, and what has happened since they've become dedicated to making their spirituality a preeminent concern and they've entered into a relationship with God. And what has changed, and how has being involved with God made things different? Shalom.